Yulia Navalnaya, фигура бесспорно...
Yulia Navalnaya, Alexei Navalny's widow, is indubitably a unifying figure. She has a crystal-clear reputation, a strong personality, and charm. Many believe that Yulia is the only person capable of restoring hope in millions of Russians. It is plain to see that adapting to this new role is difficult for her, but it seems that she had no other choice but to rise to the occasion, just like her husband back in the day. Yulia learned of her husband's death while at the Munich Security Conference, where among the participants were such figures as Hillary Clinton, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, Nobel Peace Prize laureate Maria Ressa, and Masih Alinejad, one of the most famous Iranian journalists and human rights advocate. She is an inspiration to millions of Iranian women and helps them combat oppressive rules imposed on them. Forced to live in exile, Masih finds a way to reach people living under a strict dictatorship and get them to take off their hijabs and demand their freedom. Masih Alinejad, president of the World Liberty Congress, Iranian journalist and human rights advocate, is joining our broadcast. Greetings.
Hello, thank you so much for having me in such a crucial moment.
Thank you for agreeing to speak with us. I would like to start with you meeting with Yulia Navalnaya in Munich. I saw the photos that you'd posted. Could you please tell us how the meeting went? How was it getting to know Yulia Navalnaya, unless you had already been introduced prior to this conference?
To be honest, I lost words. You have to just look at her eyes, full of sorrow and sadness. But I believe in her. I know that she can turn her pain to power to make Putin accountable. You know why? Because I myself have seen this movie before in Iran, how the mothers, how the wives of all those political prisoners who got killed by Ali Khamenei, one of the Putin allies in Iran, that now the mothers and women are the one challenging Ali Khamenei. So I believe that Julia can do the same because she's a powerful woman. She came to Munich Security Conference, meeting with a lot of powerful leaders and asking them to take action against Putin, because we strongly believe that Navalny was not just a victim. Navalny was a fighter. And now her amazing wife, Julia, is a fighter. And we are shoulder to shoulder with her. We're not going to let her fight against Putin and his gang of killers alone. We are united in this battle.
So I understand what kind of impression Yulia Navalnaya made on you, but what about the other participants of the conference? How did they react to her at a conference which includes some of the most powerful politicians in the world, especially the Western world? Was there a sense of hope that now, after Alexei Navalny has been killed, these politicians will start taking serious action?
To be honest, her presence actually made a lot of leaders to rethink about the pain that a lot of people facing right now because of Putin. So I believe that she can mobilize the leaders of democratic countries to be tough, not only on Putin, but on his allies. Because you know what? There were many powerful leaders in the Munich Security Conference. So you cannot talk about global security without isolating Putin, without isolating the dictators that helping each other. I remember that the democratic leader from Belarusian opposition, her husband is in prison right now, Svetlana. She said an amazing thing about Julia and Navalny's brutal murder. She said that now Putin is testing democratic countries. Putin is challenging democratic countries. If Putin can get away from the murder of Navalny, then other dictators can do the same. Right now that I'm talking to you, and all the dictators from Iran to China to North Korea to Venezuela, everywhere, they're helping each other. They're backing each other. So I believe that Navalny's tragic death and his amazing wife, Yulia, can get all the democratic countries to be united and have one policy. And Putin and war and all terrorist proxies and terrorism. So I believe that women can convince the leaders of democratic countries to be as brave as Navalny, to be as brave as freedom fighters. And I want to repeat what Garry Kasparov actually said. He said that Putin tried to kill Navalny secretly by poisoning him. And now Putin killed him publicly in front of the eyes of free world. So now when the leaders are meeting with Yulia, they have to know that Navalny was not a victim, he was a warrior, and we have to take action. Otherwise, empty condemnations, beautiful words, just talking or sending flowers, it's not going to save the lives of other political prisoners. We must end Putin and all the terrorists and their gang of killers. That's how we save lives.
You know, Masih, I wanted to ask you about women. It is very powerful that Yulia is challenging the entire patriarchal and conservative regime in Russia as a woman, as a representative of the weaker sex, as it is called in such conservative circles. How would you evaluate her chances, since she's a woman combating this huge oppressive machine with lots of security forces and corrupt Kremlin officials? She is challenging the boundless power of one man, which is very symbolic. So I wanted to ask you this question as a women's rights advocate who has been very successful.
Look, first of all, I have to say that, Yulia, women are not weak. Dictators are weak. And that's why they're using weapons against us. That's why they're trying to kill us. Look, Yulia, me, and millions of women, we're not carrying weapons. We are not actually killing anyone. We are fighting for democracy. We are fighting for dignity. We are fighting for, freedom. But Putin and other dictatorships, they are fighting for power. They want to stay in power. In this crucial moment, if Yulia could ask all women across the globe to be united with her, proudly, we will stand shoulder to shoulder with her and with the people of Russia to challenge Putin. This is very, very important that leaders of democratic countries, leaders of free world, to stand shoulder to shoulder with powerful women like Yulia, because we are not fighting for power. We are trying to actually bring peace and security. But those dictators, they hate women. They hate democracy. They hate freedom. They hate universal values. That should give us hope and power to not give up to them and fight together. You know what? My heart is broken because my family is under pressure. They send killers to me as well, like on US soil. The FBI arrested 3 men who were trying to kill me. My heart is broken, but I always tell myself, I have 2 options. This is Yulia always should say to herself as well. We have 2 options: to feel miserable or to make dictators like Putin and Khamenei feel miserable. We choose second one. And we call on the free world to be as brave as Yulia, as brave as Navalny, as brave as all pro-democracy fighters, and isolate these killers. Otherwise, Putin, Khamenei, and their gang of killers, they will end democracy.
The last question I wanted to ask you is about being in exile. You are a journalist and activist in exile, and Yulia is a politician in exile. Could you please share tips on how one could influence the people in countries like Russia, where fear is the prevalent feeling, from abroad? We hear a lot of doubt saying that we can't reach audiences in Russia, just like I'm sure you hear people doubting your ability to reach women and people in general in Iran. How could we do better?
I have to say that they are lying and trying to divide oppositions by saying that some who live outside Iran or Russia are irrelevant. I don't buy this narrative. This is the narrative of dictators. Now, Yulia lives outside Russia, but she can actually be the voice of millions of anti-Putin people. I live outside Iran, but my movement is inside Iran. Women inside prison who went on hunger strike to lead movement against Khamenei, they need, to be heard. So from outside Iran, we have to echo the voice of those who get killed like Navalny. So can I be honest with you? For times and times, I wanted to go back to Iran because they always put the blame on our shoulder. They always make us feel guilty by saying that you are safe miles away from your country, and now you're calling people to go to the streets. Sometimes you have the feeling to go back to Iran, but at the same time, you have to think about it. Putin, Khamenei, and dictators can easily kill you, like the way that they did to Navalny. So I want people of Russia, Iran, Ukraine, everywhere to understand that we have common enemy. Whether we are inside the country or outside, we must be united and mobilize the rest of the world against Putin, against all dictators. And you know why I'm saying that? Because now the leaders of democratic countries, they should understand that if all of us go back to our own country, what's going to happen? It's very easy for dictators to eliminate us. Not only that, we are being the target of transnational repression, like even on US soil, in France, in Germany, in Sweden, everywhere. The Islamic Republic is not just a threat to the people of Iran. Putin is not just a threat to the people of Russia. So they are the threat to the people of Ukraine. Khamenei is sending drones to Putin to kill innocent Ukrainians. So for that, we must get united as well. People of Iran, people of Russia, we should stand together inside Iran, inside Russia, or outside. We must end dictatorship.
Thank you very much, Masih, for sharing this important message, and I truly appreciate you finding the time to speak with me. I hope we speak again on TV Rain and that we will have more optimistic topics to discuss. This has been Masih Alinejad, President of the World Liberty Congress, Iranian journalist and human rights advocate.